اليوم الفريق راح يلعب دور الأربعة، يعني الفريق مستعد، ما تحتاج انك انت تطلع معسكر او تجهيز جديد حق البطولة. اللهم ان اذا في محترف جديد يضاف في تسجيل الفترة الشتوية او شهر واحد، هذا يعني كل اللي في الامر. لكن مثل ما قلت لك القادسية مستعد والكويت مستعد. الكويت متصدر الدوري، والقادسية لحد الان الوصيف. بعد يمكن اخر 3 ايام القادسية استطاع انه يقلل او يقلص الفارق بينه وبين الكويت الى نقطة واحدة. فمثل ما قلت لك ان الفريقين مستعدين للبطوله. فنتمنى مثل ما يعني انا فريقي احتاج يمكن الى محترف رابع ادعم فيه الفريق. اتمنى من مجلس الاداره والجهاز الفني انه يختارون، لان ضيق الوقت معطينك تقريبا باقي لك اسبوعين على التسجيل. 2/1 اخر يوم تسجيل، بعدها اذا ما سجلت راح تقصى من البطوله. فنتمنى ان شاء الله ان مجلس الاداره ممثله في رئيس النادي واعضاء مجلس الاداره والجهاز الفني، ان اذا في يعني محترف رابع انه يخلصون معاه من الحين على اساس انه يمدي ان نسجله في.
اتمنى لكم كل التوفيق كل الممثلين العرب. شكرا استاذ على ظهورك معنا، شرفت.
الشكر لك متواصل يا
شكرا جزيلا لك. شكرا بالتاكيد، الله يعطيك العافيه. بالتاكيد هذه رده الفعل الاوليه بعد كاس الاتحاد الاسيوي. زميلي رائد، ربما هناك الامر المثير للاهتمام في الفرق العربيه تحديدا هو مشاركه فريق فلسطيني سيلعب مع احد ممثلي دوله قرقستان. ربما هذا الامر سيكون مهم بالنسبه الفرق العربية تحديدا. إذا نحن على بعد أقل من 5 دقائق على بداية قرعة دوري أبطال آسيا لموسم 2014، والتي كما أسلفنا في الحديث السابق ستضم فرق شرق القارة وفرق غرب القارة عفوا. هناك 4 فرق من السعودية و4 من إيران و3 فرق من الإمارات، ومقعد واحد سيكون بنصف مقعد بالإضافة إلى مقعدين لقطر. إذن هي قرعة سيتم ترقبها بكل تأكيد نظرا لوصول الوفود لدوري أبطال آسيا. ستكون بعد 5 دقائق على شاشة الجزيرة الرياضية زميلي رائد. شكرا ما قصرت.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to the official draw for the AFC Champions League 2014 group stage right here in the bustling city of Kuala Lumpur. My name is Jay Menon and I will be your MC for today. On behalf of the AFC team, I'd like to extend a big thank you to everyone for making it today. And it is going to be a very exciting event. We will witness what we hope to be a draw filled with many surprises and great games to look forward to. I now have the pleasure of introducing this man right here, Dato' Alex Sose, AFC General Secretary. Yes, a round of applause would be welcome. Mr. Windsor John, AFC Deputy General Secretary. And Mr. Simon Thompson, Head of Football, World Sports Group, East Asia. Before we get to the draw process, though, I'd like to make a special announcement, the introduction of the AFC 60 Minutes campaign. Now, every fan in Asia would definitely attest to the fact that they want to see more football and they don't want to see time wasting, they don't want to see lots of drama happening on the pitch. Now, that's what the campaign is all about. It is with the aim of increasing the average actual playing time and curbing time wasting. Let us now turn our attention to the screen and look at the video for this campaign. It is with great pleasure that I now invite Dato' Alex on stage to tell us more about this new AFC initiative.
Thank you, Jay. A very good afternoon to all of you, and on behalf of the AFC President, it's my pleasure to welcome all of you here to the AFC House on the occasion of the official draw AFC Champions League 2014. This afternoon, I'm pleased and honored to be amongst you, and as you can see, the little kids here, they are demonstrating the 60 Minutes campaign, a campaign which is very important for the AFC. The AFC Executive Committee on the 26th of November has approved this campaign throughout the year 2014, and this campaign is dedicated to improve the flow of football, to ensure there is no time wasting, no delay tactics, and so forth, improve quality football. This is the objective. As you know, today, through statistics, we have recorded that we are playing only 50 to 53 minutes of football, and that's not enough. We have a total of 90 minutes. Quality football is only played for 53 minutes. I mean, why are we playing only 53 minutes? We should be playing more to entertain and to ensure that there is a tactical and technical enhancement. We are now aiming for 60 minutes. Why 60 minutes? 60 minutes is important for us because we want to target 60 minutes. Most of the matches in Europe are played more than 60 minutes, 63, 64. And therefore, 60 minutes is very important for us. And in view of the AFC celebrating 60 years of football in 2014, we will be celebrating the 60th anniversary of the Asian Football Confederation, and we are proud to launch the 60 Minutes program. And what do we call them? We call them Don't Delay, Play. And this is very important, and we'd like to encourage all of you. In the year 2014, we are also getting all the competitions, all the age group competitions, the women and men competitions to play 60 minutes of quality football. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, having said this, it is my pleasure to thank, and let's give them a big hand for this campaign. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, WSG representatives, our dear clubs, representatives from the clubs, we welcome you again to the AFC House on the occasion of the draw ceremony. In a while, you will be witnessing a draw which is going to be very interesting. And as you know, the ACL is AFC's premier competition, and there is a lot of interest, a lot of attention. You have seen in the year 2013, it has been a very, very successful. I'm sure you have seen the video a while ago. You have seen the passion, you have seen the excitement, you have seen the glory, you have seen the drama, and you have also seen the tragedy. There's so much excitement, there's so much to say, and I can sit here and speak to you more than an hour about the ACL. But I like to also put in record that the ACL final, which was played over 2 leagues in Korea, Seoul, Korea, and as well as Guangzhou in China, it was a fantastic final. It was a dream final. Every one of you here will dream to play in that final. And I wish this year, what we have experienced this year, we will definitely experience it better next year. We had a total of 110 spectators over the 2-league final, and that's amazing. That's amazing. The moment you step into the stadium, you have a kind of a feeling. The spirit of football is driving into you. An average of 280 million TV viewers across Asia watching this match. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that all about football? I'd like to encourage all of you here. Today the draw is going to be exciting. I'm sure all of you are really anticipating to see where and whom you're going to play against with. But I can share with you that the glory of the Asian Cup is beginning to grow, and it will grow. And I can also assure you the draw will be very successful. It's a fair draw, and we'd like to wish all of you a fruitful draw and a fantastic 2040 season. Having said that, on behalf of the AFC, we welcome you to the AFC once again, to the draw. Have fun and enjoy life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, children. They were so dedicated. They just stood there without moving. Well done. Now, before we get to the draw, it has been a great season indeed. Now, this year's competition has clearly maintained the high caliber performance and has provided dynamic games for football fans all across Asia. Let us, before we do the draw, have a look at what the season in 2013 was all about.
Ahead, and he does. Damjanovic, he squeezes it in. Guangzhou Evergrande have created history. The first Chinese winners of the AFC Champions League.
it really does look like a dream final. It was a sea of red, wasn't it? Over 110,000 people turned up to the stadiums. Absolutely wonderful stuff. Now let us begin the exciting draw process for this year, and I'd like to welcome on stage the AFC Deputy General Secretary and Executive Director of AFC Competitions, Mr. Windsor John.
Thank you, Jay. Dato Alex Suse, AFC General Secretary, Mr. Simon Thompson, Head of Football, WSG East Asia, AFC Directors, representatives from member associations and participating clubs, AFC staff, WSG staff, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. It gives me great pleasure to explain now the draw procedure, the draw principles, and also conduct the draw for the AFC Champions League 2014. We have 2 stages for this competition, and the first one that I will be explaining to you is the playoff stage. And for the playoff stage, we have drawn certain principles that you can see on the screen. The first being that losing teams from ACL member associations or top 10 countries with ACL direct slots will not participate in the AFC Cup. Okay? The second is the losing teams from the MAs with ACL playoff slots will join the AFC Cup group stage. Clubs winning the ACL playoff matches will advance to the AFC Champions League 2014 group stage. If a team from an MA with the ACL playoff slot qualifies for the AFC Champions League group stage, then its allocated AFC Cup group stage slot will be given to the next eligible club in its MA based on sporting merit. Principle 5, a club from a higher ranked MA based on the points ranking plays at a later stage of the ACL playoff 2014. Country protection principle priority for higher ranked MA will be implemented wherever possible. Number 7, a club from a higher ranked MA plays against a club from a lower ranked MA. And finally, between the 2 teams of ACL playoff match, the club from a higher ranked MA will host the match. This being that for playoff matches, we only have single match for the moment. Now, as you can see on the screen, the slots that have been allocated based on the MA's ranking approved by the AFC Executive Committee. From the West, we have Iran and Saudi Arabia, each receiving 4 direct slots. UAE receiving 3 direct slots and 1 playoff slot. Qatar, 2 direct slots and 1 playoff slot. Uzbekistan, being 5th in the MA ranking, received 1 direct slot and 2 playoff slots. And AFC Cup finalists from Kuwait, Jordan, Oman, Bahrain, and Iraq all receive half a slot to play in the AFC Champions League. Now in the East, we have Japan and South Korea receiving 4 direct slots, being ranked number 1 and number 2 respectively. And then we have China ranked 3rd, receiving 3 direct slot and 1 playoff slot. Australia ranked 4th, received 2 direct slot and 1 playoff slot. And Thailand, placed 5th in the ranking, received 1 direct slot and 2 playoff slots. And India, Singapore, Hong Kong, and Vietnam all received 1 playoff slot each. Now, by ranking, we see the clubs and the MAs that are going to be involved in the playoff stage. We have from UAE, Banias, from Qatar, Lakwia, Al Jaish also from Qatar, Lokomotiv from Uzbekistan, Nasaf from Uzbekistan, and Kuwait SC from Kuwait. Number 7, Al Qadsiya from Kuwait, Shabab Al Ordon from Jordan, Suwaik from Oman, Al Hid from Bahrain, and Al Shorta from Iraq. Now this will be the format of the playoff. There will be no actual a draw for the playoff stage based on the principles that I mentioned to you earlier, country protection, based on the principle of a higher ranked MA playing with a lower ranked MA, etc., which I just mentioned earlier. You can see there the countries that have been allocated their slots in the playoff stage. Now for the East, by ranking, we have Beijing Guoan from China, Melbourne Victory from Australia, Montong United from Thailand, Chonburi from Pune from India, Tampines Rovers from Singapore, South China from Hong Kong, and Hanoi TNT from Vietnam, based on the ranking eligible to play in the playoff slot. And based on the same principles that I mentioned earlier, they have now been put in these slots in this schedule format. Now you can see the match schedule. West playoff round 1. Match 1 is between Suez of Oman versus Al Qadsiya of Kuwait. And I mentioned earlier, the teams which are higher ranked will host the match. That means in this match, Suez from Oman will host the match. Second match, Shabab Al Ordon from Jordan and Al Hid. Jordan will host the match. Kuwait SC from Kuwait versus Al Shorta. Kuwait SC will host the match. Then we have the playoff round 2. We have Baniyas from UAE already waiting because they are from a higher ranked MA. They will play the winner of Suez and Al Qadsiya, Al Jayesh versus Nasaf, and so on and so forth, as you can see on the screen. Now we also have a third round playoff for the West. This will be the winners of playoff 2.1 versus the winners of 2.2, and the winner of 2.3 versus playoff winner 2.4. You have all this information on the sheets that have been provided, and the actual schedule will be provided to you later after the draw is made. Now for the East, we have 8 playoff clubs. Playoff round 1 would be Tampines Rovers versus South China, and Tampines Rovers will host this match. Pune from India versus Hanoi TNT from Vietnam, and Pune will host this match on the 2nd February. And on 8th, Chonburi versus the winner of playoff 1.1, that is Tampines and South China. Montong United will play against the winner of playoff 1.2. As I mentioned earlier, Chonburi and Montong are from a higher ranked MA. That's why they don't play in playoff 1. They are waiting in playoff 2. And we have waiting in playoff 3 is Beijing Guoan from China, because they are even higher ranked team, together with Melbourne Victory from Australia. Okay, and that's how the playoff slots have been allocated without a draw, following the principles that I have mentioned earlier. So that concludes the information that I would like to provide on the playoff stage of the AFC Champions League 2014. Now we move on to the group stage. From the group stage, ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned earlier, IR Iran received 4 slots in the Champions League by virtue of being the top ranked MA in the West. And they are from the clubs are Esteglal, Fulat Mobarak Sepahan, Trexo Sazi Tabriz, and Fulat Khuzestan. And I would like to place Iran in the bowl now, as we would be making the draw later. Now the second member association is Saudi Arabia, which was ranked number 2 in the AFC MA ranking, and they are represented by clubs from Al Fateh, Al Ittihad, Al Hilal, and Al Shabab. And I would like to put Saudi Arabia into the pot. Now from UAE, we have 3 clubs that have qualified directly into the group stage, and they are Al Ain, Al Ahli, and Al Jazeera. They are not put in the pot. I will explain later how this works. From Qatar, we have 2 representatives, Al Saad and Al Rayyan. And from Uzbekistan, we have Bunyad Khor. Okay? And the playoff teams that I mentioned earlier will have 2 slots available for the playoff teams to go to the group stage. That will be playoff 3.1 and 3.2 from the West. Now for the East, top ranked MA in the East is Japan, and they have 4 representatives. And I'd like to place Japan in the pot now. Japan will be represented by Sanfrecce Hiroshima, and 3 other positions have not been finalized yet because their cup competitions is still going on, and it has an impact on the league positions. That is the knockout cup champion, the league runner-up, and the league third place, which will be determined after the cup competition is over. Now, Korea Republic being placed number 2 in the MA ranking will also be placed in this pot. From China PR, we have 3 clubs that have direct slots to the group stage, and that is Guangzhou Evergrande, Kuiche Renhe, and Shandong Luneng Taishan. I hope I'm pronouncing this Chinese name correctly. Please excuse me. From Australia, we have 2 clubs that have made it directly to the group stage, and they are Western Sydney Wanderers and Central Coast Mariners. And from Thailand, we have the representative club, that is Buriram United, and we also have 2 playoff slots available for the East, 3.1 and 3.2, as we saw just now. Now I'll try to explain the draw principle for the group stage. Now for the West, we have 4 groups, A, B, C, D, and 4 teams in each group. And I mentioned earlier, we are trying to practice the country protection. So we want to make sure that there are no 2 clubs from the same MA in the same group. East also will have 4 groups and 4 teams each group. Principle 1, clubs from the same country will not be drawn into the same group. That's what we want to achieve. MAs with the lowest ACL points by ranking will be drawn first. So I will start with the playoff and then go to the next lowest rank and then the next lowest rank until we come to the 2 highest ranked teams in both the zones. League champions are drawn first for each MA, followed by the remaining clubs from the same MA into the reserve slots. Just like we did last year, to avoid teams being drawn into the same group, we make sure that all these teams are separated. And for us to do that, we need to make sure that they are placed separately, except for these 2 big giants here in 2 zones where they will be drawn, and you will know who you will be getting in your groups. Implementation of the double match date system. This we want to practice to ensure that we have maximum exposure through broadcasting. And clubs which share the stadium will not play its home matches on the same day with the other. Okay? Excuse me. Now you can see on the screen, you see some numbers, and you see also some countries with the slots there. Now, the 2 giants are in the bowls. In the West, we have Iran and Saudi Arabia, and in the East, we have Japan and Korea. Now, these are the 2 clubs, 2 MAs from the West and 2 MAs from the East that will be drawn. Now, all the other MAs from 3rd place, 4th place, 5th place, and the playoff slot have already been allocated this position so that we can implement the principles that we mentioned earlier, similar like what we did last year. And as you can see, the champion of UAE is placed in C1, and the second team from UAE is placed in D2, and the 3rd placed team from UAE is placed in A3, so on. Okay? And this mechanism has already been given to you. Now we will start with the official draw of the group stage. As you can see, we have already placed the positions. So now the first position for the playoff 1 would be in B3. Okay? The winner of playoff 3.1 in the West will be placed in position B3, as was mentioned earlier to you. Okay? Now the winner of playoff 3.2 in the West will be placed in position C4. And as you saw earlier, there are a lot of teams playing in the playoffs this year. Now we move on to the next ranked team from below, and that is Uzbekistan. Now the sole representative from Uzbekistan, Bunyadkor, will be placed in position B4. Now we move on to the next, that is Qatar. Now we have two clubs from Qatar. The first club from Qatar will be placed in position D1, that is Al Saad. So Al Saad from Qatar will be placed in position D1. And the second team from Qatar will be placed in position A2. Al Rayyan from Qatar, placed in position A2. Now the third highest rank in the MA in the West, that is UAE, will sit in Group C, the champion. C1 will be Al Ain. And the next position allocated for UAE is D2. And D2 is for Al Ahly, the second best team from UAE. Now the third slot available for UAE is A3. And the third club from UAE is Al Jazeera. And they will occupy position A3. Now we have come to the draw that I would like to make between the two teams, Iran and Saudi Arabia. Okay. The first drawn team will go into position B1, the first club in that MA. Okay, whichever MA is it. Anyone from Bunyadkor here? Saudi or Iran? Going to position B1, the top club from Saudi Arabia. And the top club that will go into position B1 is Al Fateh. Now to position C2 will be the second club, Al Ittihad. The third slot available for Saudi Arabia is D3. And the third club from Saudi Arabia is Al Hilal. And the final position for Saudi Arabia will be A4. A4 will be Al Shabab. This has to be Iran. To occupy position A1, and the following positions will be clubs from Iran. And the top club from Iran will occupy position A1, Esteglal. The second club from Iran will occupy position D4. And the club is Fulat Mobarek Sefahan. The third slot available for Iran is in C3, and C3 will be for Traktor Sazi Tabriz. So all regular members of the AFC Champions League. And the final position, B2, will be the last club from Iran, Fulat, Kazakhstan. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of playoff clubs in this year's and next year's Champions League. And we don't know who is going to qualify. Okay? And we want to protect the country protection principle. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, please be informed that if 2 Uzbekistan clubs qualify for the ACL playoff in position B3 and C4, okay, you see C4, if both are Uzbekistan clubs, then position B3 will be swapped with position A2, because in Group B, we already have Uzbekistan. Okay? You'll have this document. So, and the second principle would be, if an Uzbekistan club qualifies to position B3 only, yeah, and a club from another MA qualifies in position C4, then these 2 clubs will swap, so that we still have 1 Uzbekistan club in Group B. This is to ensure that we implement the club protection principle. And this we will know once we finish the playoff matches. Okay, we are done with the West. Now we move on to the East. For the East, we also have the same principle that we did for the West. We have 2 MAs already in the bowl, that is Japan and Korea, being ranked 1 and 2 in the MAs ranking in AFC. Now, position number 3 is China, and they will occupy Group G and the related slots that have been assigned for them, also to make sure that country protection principle is protected, and also higher rank MAs play with lower rank MAs also in the group stage. Australia, being 4th ranked in the MA ranking system, will have its champion lead the Group H. And the second team from Australia will be placed in F2. And the 5th ranked MA in the East zone, that is Thailand, will occupy position E2. Now we can move on with the draw for the East. I'll start with the lowest ranked, as I did for the West, with the playoff. Winner of playoff 3.1 in the East will occupy position F4. Will occupy position F4. The other club, being the winner of playoff 3.2, will occupy position G4. Now we move on to the next ranked club from the bottom. To occupy position E2 would be the club from Thailand, Buriram United. The next ranked club, Australia's clubs, the top club from Australia will be slotted into position H1, and that is Western Sydney Wanderers. And the second club from Australia will occupy position F2, Central Coast Mariners. The third placed MA in the ranking is China. Now, China's top team will occupy position G1. They are Guangzhou Evergrande, the champions of the ACL 2013. Some are smiling, some are not. It's okay. Now, the second club from China, Guangzhou Renhe, will occupy position H2. And the last club from China will occupy position E3, Shandong Lonang Taishan. Now, let's see who goes into Group F and who goes into Group E. F1 will be either the champions of Japan or the champions of Korea. Central Coast Mariners. Who would you wish? Doesn't make a difference. Okay. F1 will be the top club from, wow, it's really top club. Okay. F1 goes to the club from Japan. And the top club from Japan, Sanfrecce Hiroshima, will be placed in position F1. The second club from Japan, which is yet to be determined, will be positioned in G2. And this club will be the champion of the Knockout Cup, the Empress Cup in Japan. The champion of that Knockout Cup will be positioned in G2. The third place team from Japan will be placed in position H3, and it will be the league runner-up from Japan. And the last spot for Japan would be E4, and the league third place team will be placed in position E4. For position E1, will be the top club from Korea Republic. The top club from Korea Republic is Pohang Steelers. Pohang Steelers. Now, the second position for Korea is H4, and the second club, Ulsan Hyundai. The third position, now third slot for Korea would be position G3, and G3 is for Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors. And the final position, F3, is for FC Seoul, a runner-up of the ACL 2013. So that's done for the group stage for the East Zone. And I'll just like to explain, since we will not be seeing each other before the knockout draw, the knockout stage round of 16, ladies and gentlemen, will be played home and away to decide the winner for the quarterfinals. The winner of each group winner will play runner-up from the other group away in the first leg and for home match in the second leg. So if you are the winner, you have your chance to play home in the second leg. If clubs sharing the same stadium are winners of the group, then the AFC Competitions Committee will make the final decision at a later stage with regards to the date for the second leg matches, if there are any. Now you can see on the screen the dates that have been already approved for the knockout stage round of 16 first leg, 6th and 7th of May for both East and West for the first leg, and the second leg will be played 13th and 14th of May. 13th and 14th of May. So you can see there an overview of both the West and the East, the teams, and I wish you all the best. Over to you, Jay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Windsor. And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the official draw for the AFC Champions League 2014 group stage. Plenty of muttering, I hear. Hopefully it was a favorable draw for your team. We'd also like to thank Dr. Alex Sose and Mr. Windsor John for their assistance with the draw for today. And I believe that all 47 teams, they're ready to get the competition going. Oops. The mic's still turned on. Well, I'll just reiterate. The 47 teams are ready to go into battle, and we will meet again for the draw later on. May I now turn your attention? The media mix zone is right at the back, and as soon as we say goodbye, you may make your way for the interviews and photo opportunities that you may want to have. Thank you very much. Good evening.